This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. We'll call the meeting to order of the MPO Policy Board meeting for May 18th, 2023 at 2:00 p.m. And the first thing we'll do is conduct a roll call. John Dennis.
Here.
I show a tentative for either Kevin Underwood or John Basham. Are either one of those on? All right, thank you. Tracy Brown.
Present.
Larry Leverance.
Present.
Perry Brown.
Present.
Peter Bunder.
Here.
Cindy Murray.
Here.
Julie Ginn.
Here. Here.
Thank you, Julie. And I believe that is, I don't believe we have anybody on today from INDOT. If that's not correct, please speak up.
Scott Chandler from INDOT. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Scott, it had a no by your name there, so I will correct that. So, all right, thank you, everybody. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the April 13th, 2023 meeting. You've had those communicated to you. I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or changes? Hearing none. Mayor Dennis.
Aye.
Tracy Brown.
Aye.
Larry Leverance.
Aye.
Perry Brown.
Aye.
Peter Bunder.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Julie Ginn.
Aye.
Scott Chandler.
Aye. Can you hear me?
I can, thank you. The
Okay,
motion
thank you.
is approved. The next item on the agenda is Resolution T 23-06, resolution to adopt the 2023-2024 Unified Planning Work Program, and that will be presented by Tim.
Yes, so this is kind of our main planning document where we show the finances that we get, specifically what they call the PL and FTA funding. Most of that money is used to kind of run the office, pay for expenses such as staff salaries, software, travel for conferences, those types of things. So the document, this is the second year of a 2-year document, so this is kind of the update to it, so to speak. That update has been posted online on our website, and some of the details are given here in the staff report that was distributed in the packet, mentioning additionally that we did also apply for some small urban and rural planning money for our work in Carroll County, as we typically do every year. And then there's just some additional details about that. The other thing I want to go over specifically is some of the planning emphasis areas. These are something that kind of helps us focus how we're going to spend our money, so to speak. So the 2024 FHWA and FTA planning areas were given to us, and they're listed here. Some specifically that I want to highlight are transitioning to a clean energy and resilient future, as well as Equity and Justice 40 and transportation planning. Justice 40 is an initiative by the federal government to make sure that everyone is fairly represented in the planning process. And there are several other things, obviously the TIP, which is a very typical thing that we do, transportation data, using data for transportation planning as well. We've kind of gone through the previous steps of the approval process. We received the cost allocation plan approval letter, which is a precursor step to this, on February 20th. We received comments on April 11th and have addressed those, which, and then the version with the comments addressed has been posted on the website. So if this resolution is adopted, it will then allow us to send this off to INDOT for their approval, and then it will go to Federal Highway for final approval. So I know I kind of ran through that pretty fast, but I will be happy to take any questions that anyone has.
All right, does anyone have any questions? I know some of us have been on for a while, are familiar with this document, but are there any questions or concerns? All right, hearing none, I will conduct a roll call vote on Resolution T 23-06. John Dennis,
Aye.
Tracy Brown,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Harry Brown,
Aye.
Peter Bunder,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Julie Ginn,
Aye.
Scott Chandler.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The resolution passes. The next item on the agenda is Resolution T 23-07, resolution to amend the 2022-2026 Transportation Improvement Program for Wabash Center. And Doug is going to be handling that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Apologize. I usually turn my camera on, but for some reason it's not working. So I'll go ahead and proceed with this. The Federal Transit Administration, through the Indiana Department of Transportation, offers federal funds to nonprofit organizations so they can purchase minivans and whatnot to assist transportation for the elderly and disabled persons. With this past allocation of those funds, the Indiana Department of Transportation did award funds to the Wabash Center to purchase a low-floor minivan and a small transit bus. The total project cost, is shown in the staff report, is almost $250,000, and the federal funds received is just under $200,000. This amendment is actually the next step in terms of adding it to the TIP so that the Wabash Center can actually use these funds and purchase the two vehicles. The Technical Transportation Committee did review this request at its meeting yesterday and made a positive recommendation. And staff is also asking for your approval through Resolution T 23-07. Are there any comments or questions?
Wabash Center certainly does a fantastic job with their programs. Any questions for Doug or any concerns? Hearing none, I'll conduct a roll call vote. John Dennis,
Aye.
Tracy Brown,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Harry Brown,
Aye.
Peter Bunder,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Julie Ginn,
Aye.
Scott Chandler.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The resolution passes.
Great, thank you.
The next item on the agenda is Resolution T 23-08, resolution to adopt the 2024-2028 Transportation Improvement Program. And Doug, you'll be doing that again.
Yes. This is an exciting time in terms of we are at or near the very end of developing this new transportation improvement program. This process started last October with the call of projects. In December, we received the lists both from the state and from all of the local communities, put them together and released those to the general public. In January, we actually, or at least the Technical Transportation Committee, did review the local projects that requested our federal gas tax funds and made recommendations. The draft document was then developed and then published. We held our public hearing in early March and then have submitted it to NDOT and Federal Highway for their review. And it appears that we have answered all of their questions and comments. So now we're at the final stage of actually adopting the document. It was presented to the Technical Transportation Committee. Their meeting last month, and they recommended adoption. And we are recommending adoption of this document through Resolution T23-08. Now, after it is adopted, we hope today, the resolution will be sent to NDOT, and then they will hopefully approve it when the STIP or their TIP is approved here in a month or two. Are there any comments or questions that I can answer or help with?
All right, thank you, Doug, for that explanation. Hearing no questions or concern, we'll vote on T23-08. John Dennis.
Aye.
Tracy Brown.
Aye.
Larry Leverance.
Aye.
Harry Brown.
Aye.
Peter Bunder. Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Julie Ginn.
Aye.
Scott Chandler.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The resolution passes. The next item on the agenda is the APC progress report. We have several individual items under that. The first one is the MPO update on the that Doug will be presenting to us.
Good afternoon once again. The first item is the draft State Transportation Improvement Program. As I mentioned previously, the state is developing their Transportation Improvement Program, and the document is actually available on their website for everyone to review. They are currently in the public participation process right now. Specifically, beginning yesterday, they are having open houses, with yesterday being in Marion, Indiana. Today, they are having it in Broad Ripple in central Indiana. Next Wednesday, it'll be in Maryville, and the following Wednesday, May 31st, it'll be in Evansville. For us, we will be attending or visiting their open houses via virtual presentations on June 1st. They have one in the early afternoon from 1 to 3, and then from 5 to 7. Their comment period is 45 days, and they are hoping to have this completed sometime in June and then submit the draft document for approval by the Federal Highway Administration and Federal Transit Administration. And I believe their goal is to have all of this completed by July 1st. As you can see on the screen, here's some information about those public open house and meetings. So are there any comments or questions?
Scott, is there anything you would like to add to that?
Sorry, I'm having some difficulties here. Mayor, no, I do not have any additional comments at this time.
All right, thank you. Just wanted to give you the opportunity in case.
Thank you.
All right, Doug, I don't believe we need a vote on that. I believe that was information only. So we'll move down
Correct.
to the US Bike Route 37, and you'll be handling that also.
Yes, more exciting news. The Indiana Department of Transportation did submit the application to AASHTO last month, and they are reviewing it. As a matter of fact, they are meeting this week to actually review all of the applications nationwide. And we hope that after the meeting, we will receive positive information as to the designation of the route. Since NDOT did submit the application, there were a few minor points that NDOT did need to follow up on. One is to have an actual public information time period, and that closed actually last Wednesday, and they are currently reviewing the comment letters. The one last piece of information that my understanding that needs to happen is that the NDOT commissioner still needs to sign the application. That was not done when the application was submitted to AASHTO. So I did reach out to several NDOT staff members this morning to get an update and have not heard back from them. So I'm hoping that we have additional positive information to report at next month's meeting. Are there any questions or comments?
All right, thank you for that update. Next, we'll be going to the railroad grant, and Tim will be presenting that.
Yes, so this is kind of the next step in an effort that started back in January when we had someone from Amtrak come in and share their vision about what they would like to see for passenger rail service through the state of Indiana. And because of the newest transportation legislation that was passed, and that provided some new sources of grant funding for passenger rail, as we kind of continued to look at what our options were, we decided to put in an application for funding for 2 projects, one of which will be some improvements to Lafayette Yard here in Tippecanoe County, as well as a speed improvement project along a curve in Monon, which both those improvements should kind of help to lay the groundwork for better passenger rail service through Indiana. Specifically, we're kind of looking at the corridor going from Louisville to Indianapolis to Chicago. And we've kind of taken an approach that several different entities have kind of teamed up in order to look at that. So I kind of already described what we did. Additionally, NDOT put in an application as well for some improvements. And kind of the end goal of all this is to be able to make passenger rail service more viable by increasing the service frequency. As many of you on this committee remember, we used to have the Hoosier State Line that ran through here until 2019 when that was discontinued. So what we're hoping is that eventually we can not only get that service back, but even increase the frequency of service so that it would be running every day, at least a couple times a day. And we believe that we have some studies that show that that will make this corridor much more used, and we'll get some pretty good passenger rail service for our community as well as other communities along the line. So we did submit that grant at the end of April. Now we're in the kind of time frame where we wait to hear back from the Federal Rail Administration. And so we'll see what they have to say, and we will definitely keep you all updated as we have news on this. And then additionally, I would like to thank this committee. I know that several members gave us letters of support for that application that we filed. So we do really appreciate having your backing along this project. So thank you for that. And I will take any questions or comments about this.
All right. Thank you, Tim, for that update. Next will be Doug under presenting on federal funding obligation.
Once again, good afternoon. The spreadsheet staff report basically has been in your packet, and it is showing on your screen. 2 pieces of good news. The first is, of course, we once again successfully obligated all of our STBG and other federal funds for fiscal year 2023, which is great. We've been successful in doing that for many years now. The other bit of good news is that NDOT Central Office did go through and finalize all of their fiscal year 2023 funding, and we are receiving an additional $141,243. Sounds like a lot, but when you look at the numbers for the individual projects, it is a fairly small number. The one bit of information I need to pass along for these additional funds is that we need to have these funds obligated by the end of September this year. We actually asked the transportation or the committee members for our technical transportation committee yesterday about these federal funds and which project we should apply them to, and the decision was to move it to the Yeager Road construction project. If you remember, We did have a significant amount of federal funds that went to the project, but it did not clearly make up the normal 80-20%. Approximately, it was 64%. So even though it's a small number, the decision by those committee members was to add it to the Yeager Road project. So at the next meeting, for this committee, we will be asking for your official allocation to that project. So questions or comments?
All right. Well, thank you, Doug. We'll look for that next month. Doug, if you want to go ahead and go on into the NDOT 18-month letting list.
Oh, sure. I'm more than glad to do that. It's kind of a small list. Only have 21 projects listed. The first two I'd like to go to were back in April that were on the 12th bidding list. The first project is located on US 52, involved auxiliary lanes, both acceleration, deceleration, or turn lanes. And at the April bidding, unfortunately, as you see, there were two bids and both of them were above the engineer's estimate. The good news is that it was actually moved to this past May letting. And again, there were two bids and Milestone was actually the low bid, 2.75 million. The engineer's estimate was 2.9 million. So it looks like this project is awardable and will move forward. For the other project on US 52, there were three bids submitted and the project was awarded and that project will be moving forward. I'm going on to the first page, or back to it. There were three projects in the May letting besides the rescheduled of the one that just previously mentioned. The first one on State Road 28. Unfortunately, there were no bidders on this project, so hopefully this will be on next month's bidding list. And then for project number 4, there were two bids submitted. The low bid was under the engineer's estimate, so hopefully that will be awarded. And then for project number 5, the traffic signal modernization project, again, the bids received were under the engineer's estimate, so it looks like that's awardable as well. Some other points I'd like to mention, project number 9 is the first phase of the Morehouse Road project. And then project 14 and 15, those were actually moved from an October bid letting. And it says, yes, February of 2023, that should be February of 2024 for both of those. So they were moved back. And then project 16 and 17, these are two county bridge projects. Bridge 64 and 65, both on Lilly Road. And the news to pass along is that they have been moved from fiscal year 2025 to actually fiscal year 2028. And this is due to funding. The projects significantly increased in cost for constructing, and the additional funds are available and were given to the county. But the caveat is that the project needed to be moved back to fiscal year 2028. So we're looking now at a July 2027 bid letting for both those projects. So that's a brief summary of the 18-month letting list. Any comments or questions?
This is Scott. I do have a couple of corrections. I won't go through every detail here. I can send you an email. But we do have a project 22 that does not show up on your list. It is a noise abatement project. There was damage to a noise wall, and so we have a contract to do that repair. That is along Interstate 65, just north of 26. And again, I will send you some information for that. And item number 3, the replace or repair joints on State Road 28, that will be relet, and that's going to be in the October letting. Trying to turn that around quickly for July was pretty quick, and we think we'll get more favorable bids if we wait till October.
Hey, thank you for that update.
Yep, so I'll send you some additional information after this meeting sometime.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Scott, for that additional information. Anybody else have any other questions? All right. Anybody have anything under other business?
Mayor, this is Doug again. I'd like to just mention one thing. It's going to be happening tomorrow morning. It's Bike to Work Day, and there's going to be an event on the pedestrian bridge beginning at 8 o'clock. So wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything else for other business or good of the order? All right, have we received any citizen comments at this time? All right. If we've not received any, we'll wait about another minute and give them an opportunity. Is someone there from the IT department?
Yeah, we have no public comments at this time.
Thank you. All right, we'll wait a minute then.
Okay, it's been about 1 minute and there are still no public comments.
All right, thank you very much. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We'll conduct a roll call vote. John Dennis,
Aye.
Tracy Brown,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Barry Brown, Barry, you still with us? I see you. Give me the thumbs up there. All right, we got it. Peter Bunder,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Julie Ginn,
Aye.
Scott Chandler.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned, everybody. Thank you very much.
See you, folks.
John, you're supposed to stay on.
Good afternoon.